Good morning, students. Yesterday we were doing the derivations on relation between E, G, nu, and K. Those are elastic modulus, rigidity modulus, bulk modulus, and Poisson's ratio. Due to some technical problem, the meeting was ended without any notice. Okay. I will just brief the topic and we shall move on to the next topic. Uh, so Now what we can do here is we have this relation between elastic modulus, rigidity modulus, and Poisson's ratio. And we had discussed the derivation part, and the final equation what we had was E is equal to 2G multiplied by 1 plus nu. So, which was the equation we had obtained by considering the relation between E, G, and nu. And also I have started the derivation about relation between E, K, and nu. So in that I had also mentioned that in case of EG and nu, we had considered only 2D plane. Here in this condition, EK and nu, we will consider 3D plane. So when we consider 3D plane, so the stresses will be acting in all three directions. So strain will be there in all three directions. So deformation will takes place in all the three directions. So with that concept in mind, we have arrived at an equation E is equal to 3K into 1 minus 2 nu. So if you observe, so in the previous case we had considered two plane. So E is equal to 2G. So rigidity modulus will come in only in the case of where 2D. So rigidity modulus 2G. 1 plus nu we have got, and here you can observe since we have taken 3D diagram, we will get the volumetric strain or this bulk modulus 3K into 1 minus 2 nu. So you can also observe that in the previous equation we have 1 plus 2 nu. Okay, that is a difference. So don't get confused. You should remember all these formulas. And we have one more formula. It is the relation between E, G, and K. There is no much difference. So since we have two equations, equation 1 and equation 2, solve those equations for nu. So we can easily equate those values. Um, so this is equation number 1, and this is equation number 2. I will substitute this cross multiply and substitute the equation for nu. So I will get the equation as E minus 2G divided by 2G and 3K minus E divided by 6K. So when I cross multiply this, so both the things are new here. I will equate both those equations. When I equate both those equations, I shall simplify the equation for E. So E is equal to what will we get? So after simplification, we will arrive at this equation. So E is equal to 9GK divided by 3K plus G. So this is the final equation what we are going to arrive at. So try this simplification steps. If you get any doubts in between, you can ask. Okay, so try it once. If you can solve it, fine. If you cannot, you shall ask me in the next class so that I shall simplify it for you. Okay. uh, this is the end of your module number 1. So in the module number 1, we have learnt about all the elastic constant. We have learnt about the concepts of stresses and strain, principal stresses, normal stresses, and all. We have also learnt about shear stresses. We have also learnt about temperature stresses. So this is about the very basic basic principle, simple in the chapter name itself, simple stresses and strains. Okay, so we have learnt about simple stresses and strains. Uh, in that, we have also done few problems. Here at the end of the notes, you can see some exercise problems. As usual, I have during the class I have solved the problems related to each and every topic in this chapter. Okay, now it is time for you to practice. At the end of this notes, you will find exercise problems. Each and every one of you should solve these problems. Okay, uh, applying the concepts of the examples what I have explained. So, if at all anywhere you find difficulty solving these problems, you should inform me in the next class. Uh, so that I'll be able to explain it to you how to solve those things. So, uh, my suggestion is you clarify your doubts then and there itself, because the topic, the concepts what you learn in the first class, first module, will be the basic for the second module. So if you have doubts in the first module itself, so it will be very difficult for you to understand the second module. So that I insist you to practice these exercise problems, so that you are able to get the most out of the knowledge in this subject. So all the basic knowledge is in module number one. Okay. Uh, with that note, we shall move on to second module. Uh, See here, we have this second module, compound stresses. Uh, what are these compound stresses? What is simple stress? What is compound stress? Why we encounter all these things? We shall understand in this module. Uh, Here, basically, there are different types of stresses: tensile stresses, compressive stresses, shear stresses, temperature stresses, etc. etc. In the first module, what we had done was at a particular time, at one time, we have considered only tensile stresses. For other example, we had considered only compressive stresses. In the other case, we had considered only shear stresses. These are considered to be simple stresses, where we calculate the strain or other parameters related to the problem by considering only the shear stress, only the compressive stress, only the tensile stress. What if a system carries all these three, or it may contain tensile and shear stress, it may contain compressive stress or shear stress, it may contain tensile as well as compression as well as shear stress. So all the stresses will be acting in a single body. So that kind of system, we call that type of system as compound stress system. See. So here in the notes you can observe compound stress system. So where the uh, you can observe uh, um, the compounds. First, we shall understand what are those simple stresses. So what are the directions? Okay. Then it will be easier for you to understand the compound stresses. Say, I will consider a plane. Say, this is the say, square portion, or a one single plane, one side of the, say this, if this is a cube, this is one plane, right? So I'm considering only one face of the cube. So one plane I will consider. So when I say tensile stress, so force will be acting away from the body. So force will be acting away from the body. So this system is under tensile stresses. What if we have this stress, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this force is acting towards the body. That means this body is experiencing compressive stress. Okay. this body is experiencing compressive stress. This body is also experiencing tensile stress. This body is also experiencing compressive stress. Along with this, what if we have shear stresses as well? Yeah. How shear stress will be acting? Shear stress will be acting tangential to the plane. So, like this, your shear stress will be acting. So shear stress will be acting in opposite planes in opposite direction, which will cause the rotation of the body. So it shears like this. So it is like a sliding force on the body. To counteract this, if we have complementary stresses as well, so clockwise ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Uh, we shall introduce anti-clockwise shear stresses. Okay. Now observe. Yeah. So these are all the types of stresses which will be acting on the system or a body. We have just considered one element of a plane. So one plane alli one element ಮಾತ್ರ consider ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು is to for a studying purpose. Okay. Uh, what will happen is when I apply the tensile forces, uh, the tensile stresses will be developed in which plane? In this plane. Say I shall name the uh, triangle here. Okay, so this is here. Okay, so we have ABCD plane. At plane BA or AB and CD, at plane AB and CD, we have tensile stresses. So the body will experience tensile force, which will be normal to the plane. So if this is the plane, that means we are seeing the vertical plane. So the stresses developed due to tensile forces will be normal to the plane. Normal to the plane means perpendicular to the plane. So perpendicular to the plane ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It is 90 degree with the plane. Okay, so understand this technical words. It is very important. Okay, so these are the normal stresses developed due to tension. So if I have uh, compressive load. We have compressive load in plane AD and BC. So in plane AD and BC, we are experiencing compressive force. So in that plane, what AD and BC, which will be horizontal in direction in this example. Okay, so compressive stress will be acting like this. So which is again is normal to the plane. The normal to the plane ಅಂದ್ರೇನು? It is the stresses acting or normal to the plane ಅಂದ್ರೆ stresses are acting perpendicular to the plane. Perpendicular ಅಂದ್ರೆ 90 degree with the plane. Okay, are you understanding? So these are normal stresses. That is normal stresses. We call this as normal stresses, or we can also call this as principal stresses. Principal stresses. Also, with this combination, so one side it is tensile, one side it is compression, some of the forces may act in an inclination. Here observe, in this plane, if I consider this plane or some other planes, say I have some other plane, so for just for example I will consider one plane here, so which is inclined at some angle. uh, in this, what will happen is some of the stresses will be acting normal to this plane. Okay, okay, some of the stresses will be acting normal to this plane and tangential to this plane. Okay, ಒಂದೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯಾಂಜೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ the stresses, the principal stresses, which is at an inclination. so it is not perpendicular to the plane, so it is having some inclination due to compound stresses. So ಬರೀ ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೆನ್ಸೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್, ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್. ಎರಡೂ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಶಿಯರ್ ಫೋರ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಬಲ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, so the resultant normal and tangential stress will be acting in some plane which is not uh, in perpendicular directions. It will be in some inclined direction. So because of this, that means I shall show you with this diagram here. So observe here. Just one type of force I will consider. See, we have this long member. When I apply compressive force to this, observe, when I apply compressive force to this, what will happen to this member? This member is going to break when I exceed the force, right? How it will break? It will break like this. See, in this angle, it will break. Why it is acting in this angle? Because the stresses are more or the maximum in this plane. So in this plane, what the inclined line what I have drawn on the member, what you are seeing is the plane where maximum stresses are acting. Either it may be normal stresses or tangential stresses. Some compound stresses will be acting, shearing action will be there, compressive action will be there. So this condition we consider it as compound stress. So that is why for a particular material, for any material if you take, it will have its own plane of fracture, or it will be experiencing maximum or minimum in some plane. Some plane will be experiencing maximum stresses, some other plane may be experiencing minimum stresses. Both these conditions also have some principle. See, if my this hand is maximum plane and this hand is minimum plane, minimum stresses plane, it will be perpendicular to each other always. So if the normal stresses are higher, then the tangential stresses are lower, but it will be at some inclination. At what inclination, in which position those things are present, are the main thing what we need to understand in this chapter. So, uh, in a compound stress system, the magnitude of normal stress may be maximum on some plane and minimum on some plane when compared with those acting on the element. Okay. Similarly, the magnitude of shear stress may also be maximum on two planes when compared with those acting on the element. Okay. Hence, for the considered compound stress system, it is important to find the magnitudes of maximum and minimum normal stresses. So, maximum shear stresses and the inclination of planes on which they act. Okay, that is what we are will be calculating: maximum, minimum, normal stresses, maximum shear stresses, and the inclination of the plane. What I'll repeat: maximum and minimum normal stresses, uh, maximum and minimum normal stresses. Next, maximum shear stresses and the inclination of planes. So these are the factors we will be observing in this chapter. Okay. See, we shall understand the axial systems, that means force systems. If you are able to understand the force system, then it would be very easier to continue with the chapter. Okay. See here, suppose we have one member here. Along its axis, we have a force. Here, along this plane, we have a force. So it is acting axially. So this is an axial force. So this is the example of compressive force acting axially on a member. So it is acting in only one direction. So we call this type of when we get the stresses from this system, we call that as uniaxial stresses that are direct stress, direct or uniaxial. Okay, you can understand, right? So uniaxial. Yeah, uniaxial. This condition is uniaxial. Whereas if I apply one more force here, if I apply one more force in another axis, so the forces are acting in two axes. So we call this system as biaxial stress system. Biaxial system. If I apply in another direction, the third direction, say which may look like this, okay, see, in this direction. So this system we call it as triaxial system. So the number of axes where we are applying the load is considered. So first we shall consider uniaxial, which is the first module that we have learned, and the second one is biaxial for 2D diagrams or the plane diagrams. What we are going to study now, and we have triaxial system. Um, so for different axial systems, we have different stress conditions, and we are going to analyze and understand the stress systems, the compound stress systems. So now we shall take one example and consider biaxial stress system. Uniaxial we have already learned in the first module. Okay, so biaxial system we shall take. Uh, Next one is plane stress or 2D stress system or biaxial stress system. All the three parameters are same. So if they ask you to define or explain plane stresses, you will explain this thing. Or if they ask you to explain 2D stress system, you will explain again this thing. If they ask biaxial stress system, again you will answer this thing. So for all the terms are different, but the understanding or the concept is same. Okay, ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಓಕೆನಾ ಆದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ನೇಮ್ ಇಂದ ಕರೀತಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So like a nickname. Okay. Uh, Now we shall look into this plane stresses we shall understand or the biaxial stress system. Generally, his body is subjected to 3D state of stress system with both normal and shear stresses acting in all three directions, right? Okay. However, for convenience in most problems, variation of stresses along a particular direction can be neglected, and the remaining stresses are assumed to act in a plane. Okay, such a system is called a 2D system, a 2D stress system, and the body is called as plane stress body. So the body is called plane stress body. So in this diagram you can observe the second diagram you should observe we have considered only one plane in a 3D object. So first ಆವಾಗಲೇ explain ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ same thing. Okay, here you can observe there are some normal forces and there are some shear forces. What are the normal forces? Normal forces in x direction we have fx. So in plane AD and BC we have fx. So fx is acting in x direction. So this fx is acting in vertical plane. So E plane in the force act axis. Force is in horizontal direction, but plane is perpendicular to the force. That you should understand. Next, we have Fy forces. That means forces acting in y direction. So we have plane in horizontal direction, perpendicular to that Fy is acting. So that is why Fx and Fy are the normal stresses acting on the body, and both of them are mutually perpendicular to each other. Fx and Fy are both perpendicular to each other. Now, in general, two-dimensional stress system, a body consists of two normal stresses. Those are Fx and Fy, which are perpendicular to each other. With a state of shear as shown in figure. See, in the figure you can observe Q, which are shear forces. So further, since plane AD and BC carry normal stress Fx, they are called planes of Fx. These planes are parallel to y-axis. Similarly, planes AB and CD represent planes of Fy, which are parallel to x-axis. Okay. So these are plane stresses. So next we shall understand one more concept which is called as principal stresses and principal planes. Uh, for a given compound stress system, there exists normal stress and a minimum normal stress. So maximum normal stress and minimum normal stress, which are called the principal stresses. So as I have mentioned earlier, normal maximum stress and normal minimum stress uh, are called as principal stresses. So principal stresses ಅಂದ್ರೇನು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು plane consider ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ at some plane the normal stress will be maximum, at some other plane the normal stress will be minimum. So maximum plane ಇರುತ್ತೆ, minimum plane ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಎರಡು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರೋ ಪ್ಲೇನು, ದಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ maximum principal plane and minimum principal. So put together we shall just consider those two planes, two types of planes as principal planes. The planes on which these principal stresses act are called principal planes. In a general 2D stress system, there are two principal planes which are always mutually perpendicular to each other. So principal planes are free from shear stresses. Okay, principal planes are free from shear stresses. In other words, principal may carry only normal stresses. So I shall indicate that in a diagram so that you can understand very easily. So we have a 2D system like this. So one is normal in x direction. So one is normal in y direction. They are mutually perpendicular to each other, and we don't have any shear stresses. So the plane AB is perpendicular to plane BC. So ಇದೆರಡು perpendicular ಆಗಿದೆ, and then we don't have any shear stresses. So the plane AB and BC are called principal planes. Okay. So in this direction, in plane AB, the stresses may be maximum. Okay. In plane AB, stresses may be maximum. In plane BC, stresses may be minimum. Otherwise, stresses may be maximum at plane BC and stresses will be minimum in plane AB. So they are mutually perpendicular to each other. The principal planes are always perpendicular to each other. So there will be two principal planes which will be always perpendicular to each other. So perpendicular in the sense x-axis y-axis ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, they are mutually perpendicular ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. So if we have a plane in this angle, so normal forces in this direction will be the principal plane. So illi so the another principal plane in perpendicular direction. So e direction allidre, so normal to this will be the principal force, principal axis, principal stresses. So in this cube, in this material, if the maximum is this one, the minimum will be in perpendicular direction to it. So don't get confused with the concept. Okay. Now we shall understand maximum shear stresses and explain. So maximum normal stress and minimum normal stress act ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And then one more type of stress will be acting, which we will consider for calculation, is shear stress. So we will obtain maximum shear stresses. There is no concept called minimum shear stresses. So we will consider only maximum shear stresses and its plane. So how this plane will be? So for understanding what is this plane, how it will be, actually it is just a principle. Okay, for a given 2D stress system, there will be two maximum shear stresses of equal magnitude. So one act which act on two planes. Okay, these planes are called planes of maximum shear. So these planes are mutually perpendicular. Further, these planes may or may not carry normal stresses. The planes of maximum shear are always inclined at 45 degree with principal planes. So what that means? We shall also understand this concept with the help of the diagram. Okay. So I have this 2D plane. Uh, what we are saying is, if this is the maximum shear stress, and if this is the minimum shear stress. Okay, so we have A, B and C directions, C corners. In this, if I consider to be acting the maximum shear stresses, if it is acting in plane AB, then minimum shear stresses are maximum, that is also a maximum shear stress. So maximum shear stress will be acting in two planes. So maximum stress will be acting in two planes. What are those planes? AB and BC in this condition, and both those planes are perpendicular to each other, always perpendicular to each other. And one more concept you should note here. So this planes, the maximum shear stress planes are always at an inclination with the principal plane. So principal plane with the inclination of 45 degree. So here in the notes you have 45 degree. So this is a printing mistake. 450 ಅಂತ ಆಗಿದೆ. So this is 45 degree. Okay. So 45 degree at an angle of 45 degree. So uh, so this is principal plane. So this is principal plane, and plane AB and AC are the planes of maximum shear stresses. So principal planes ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಎರಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎರಡು ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್, ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್, ಆ ಎರಡೂ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಎರಡೂ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಶಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್. ಸೊ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಶಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಎರಡು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎರಡು ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಶಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಎರಡು ಪ್ಲೇನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಬೋತ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮ್ಯೂಚುವಲಿ ಪರ್ಪೆಂಡಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟು ಈಚ್ ಅದರ್. ಓಕೆ, mutually perpendicular to each other, and it is at an angle of 45 degree with principal plane. So maximum shear stress on the condition is principal plane. So you should understand this plane system, then we shall go on to derive the uh, uh, expressions and solve some problems in compound stress chapter module, but two compound stresses. Okay. So, with this basic understanding, uh, I believe you have understood some of the concepts. In the next class, we shall understand and solve the derivations. Okay, I shall end the session here. Thank you very much. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, any doubts?